Hey, what's up, people in the world?
Come back with us.
Yo, man.
Roy, lu ngapain, Roy?
Lagi kerjain tugas nih, mau pindahin ke harddisk, coy.
Harddisk?
Iyalah.
Zaman sekarang, bro, masih pakai harddisk?
Pakai lah, emang kenapa?
Banget lu tinggal di gua lu ya?
Enggak kok.
Sekarang itu pakai Dropbox, bro. Dropbox. Tau Dropbox nggak lu?
Apa tuh?
Dropbox itu
With the little spare time he has, Drew HOUS-ton enjoys a good jamming session with friends. The 31-year-old may never quite make it as a chart-topping musician, but if tech entrepreneurs really are today's rock stars, then he's already fast approaching the Hall of Fame with Dropbox, an online file-sharing service which has now racked up 300 million users across the globe.
Today is his 7th birthday, believe it or not.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I still have the little thing from the Delaware Secretary of State saying, hey, you have a real company now.
In that time, he's taken Dropbox from scratch to a $10 billion valuation, with Wall Street expecting a public share offering soon. He told me he's always been an ideas man at heart.
The whole path started when I was little and my parents had a computer and they had all these games on it. And I would play these games and I was really curious about how they worked. And that's how I started to learn programming and I always thought that when I grew up I wanted to make computer games.
His first serious attempt at putting those skills into practice was an online exam preparation tool. It failed, but serendipitously provided Drew with the eureka moment for Dropbox.
I was on a bus from Boston to New York and I had a big list of things I wanted to get done. And so I opened up my laptop, about to get to work, only to realize, and I fish around in my pockets, and I forgot my thumb drive. And that means all those things I wanted to get done, I wasn't going to get any of them done. And what happened was I opened up the editor and started writing some code because I was like, I never want to have this problem again. And even if I just solve it for myself, that was great. But then it was clear that Dropbox and what I first started working on was something that all of us need.
Getting funding initially, or getting it noticed initially, wasn't plain sailing for you.
So it was a challenge to raise our first money because what happened was these investors, we would talk to them and they'd be like, look, there are 100 of these storage companies. And so like, why does the world need another one of these? I would respond to the investor, but look, yes, there are a lot of these things out there, but do you use any of them? And invariably they'd say, well, no.
At this stage, he'd brought on a co-founder, Arash Ferdowsi, a fellow student from MIT.
It's an opportunity to get someone who really compliments you and someone who can ride the ups and downs with you. The hardest part about, especially the early days, is there are all the business challenges, there are all the product challenges, but it's just a very grueling experience. And one day you're on top of the world and you get your first article written about you. The next day there's a huge bug and the site is down and you're tearing your hair out. And you have this, you're whipsawing between euphoria and terror every day, and guess what? That's still true today.
He now employs around 700 staff, many scooting busily around the San Francisco HQ, keeping them well fed and motivated with gourmet food. Drew says building a great team has been key to his success.
When you look behind the curtain, there's surprisingly little magic, meaning all these companies were built just by getting groups of smart people together and just to try to make the best decisions they can and just solving one problem at a time and just do that over and over and over again, and then sort of like compound interest, where if you make a little bit better decisions, have a little bit better people, work a little bit harder, a day later, a year later, might not see that much of a difference, but like 7 years later, then you can have a huge difference. And so one thing that I do that's therapeutic is I read these profiles of all these other companies, and the first thing you realize is like, oh my God, these places were such a mess, and they still did okay.
Drew HOUS-ton, selamat datang dan terima kasih telah datang di wawancara kali ini. Nah, jadi apa sih yang membuat Anda akhirnya menciptakan Dropbox ini?
Jadi saat itu, waktu saya kuliah di MIT, USB saya sering tertinggal. Dan saya menyadari bahwa penggunaan internet saat itu masih belum dimanfaatkan dengan maksimal. Maka dari situ, saya punya ide untuk menggunakan internet menggantikan USB sehingga dapat menyampaikan data dengan internet.
Jadi, menurut Anda, apa sih fungsi dari Dropbox itu?
Dropbox menawarkan fungsi bagi pengguna untuk menyimpan data di internet, sehingga pengguna dapat mengakses data mereka kapanpun dan dimanapun. Kami menawarkan layanan gratis penyimpanan data sebesar 2 GB dan akan berbayar setelah melewati 10 GB. Yang membedakan hanyalah ukuran penyimpanan datanya saja.
Dropbox sampai saat ini masih memberikan akun gratis dan ini menyebabkan biaya Dropbox menjadi semakin besar. Mengapa Anda masih melakukan hal seperti itu?
Pertumbuhan kami banyak disebabkan oleh promosi mulut ke mulut atau viral. Jadi, pengguna gratis masih sangat berguna. Kami dapat tumbuh dengan pesat dan mereka memperkenalkan Dropbox ke orang-orang yang mungkin mau membayar. Memilih durasi yang tepat itu sulit, dan orang menyimpan data yang berbeda-beda di Dropbox mereka. Banyak dari pengguna yang mulai memakai akun berbayar setelah mereka menggunakan akun gratis untuk waktu yang lama.